Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I will telling about 1894_S Barber Dime coin. That the Barber coinage consists of a dime, quarter, and half dollar designed by United States Bureau of the Mint chief engraver Charles E. Barber. They were minted between 1892 and 1916, though no half dollars were struck in the final year of the series. Design head of Liberty designer Charles E. Barber. Design date 1891. Reverse design a heraldic eagle, based on the Great Seal of the United States. Designer Charles E. Barber. Design date 1891. By the late 1880s, there were increasing calls for the replacement of the seated Liberty design, used since the 1830s on most denominations of silver coins. In 1891, Mint Director Edward O. Leach, having been authorized by Congress to approve coin redesigns, ordered a competition, seeking a new look for the silver coins. As only the winner would receive a cash prize, invited artists refused to participate and no entry from the public proved suitable. Leach instructed Barber to prepare new designs for the dime, quarter, and half dollar, and after the chief engraver made changes to secure Leach's endorsement, they were approved by President Benjamin Harrison in November 1891. Striking of the new coins began the following January. Public and artistic opinion of the new pieces was, and remains, mixed. In 1915, Mint officials began plans to replace them once the design's minimum term expired in 1916. The Mint issued Barber dimes and quarters in 1916 to meet commercial demand, but before the end of the year, the Mercury dime, Standing Liberty quarter, and Walking Liberty half dollar had begun production. Most dates in the Barber coin series are not difficult to obtain, but the 1894 dime struck at the San Francisco Mint 1894 S1, with a mintage of 24, is a great rarity. All three denominations of the Barber coinage depict the head of Liberty, facing right. She wears a pileus and a small headband inscribed Liberty. On the quarter and half dollar, the motto, "In God We Trust," appears above her head. She is otherwise surrounded with 13 six-pointed stars and the date. On the dime, her head is surrounded with United States of America and the year. The reverse of the quarter and the half dollar depicts a heraldic eagle, based on the Great Seal. The bird holds in its mouth a scroll inscribed E Pluribus Unum, and in its right claws an olive branch. In its left it holds 13 arrows. Above the eagle are 13 five-pointed stars. It is surrounded by the name of the country and by the coin's denomination. 32. The reverse of the dime depicts a wreath of corn, wheat, maple and oak leaves surrounding the words, 1 dime. 30. Barber's monogram, B, is on the cutoff of Liberty's neck. The mint mark, on the dime, is placed beneath the wreath on the reverse. 33. And beneath the eagle on the larger denominations. 34. Barber's head of Liberty is purely classical, and is rendered in the Roman style. The head is modeled after the French series silver coinage of the late 19th century, but bears a resemblance to Morgan's design for the silver dollar. 35. This did not escape numismatist Walter Breen in his comprehensive guide to U.S. coins. Barber must have been feeling unusually lazy. He left the dime reverse design as it had been since 1860, with minor simplifications. His obverse was a mirror image of the Morgan dollar head, with much of Miss Anna Willis Williams, B, back hair cropped off, the rest concealed, within a disproportionately large cap. 37. In his text introducing the Barber quarter, Breen states, the whole composition is Germanically stolid, prosy, crowded especially on reverse, and without discernible merit aside from the technical one of low relief. 38. Burdett terms Barber's designs, typically mediocre imitations of the current French style, hardly better than the arcane seated Liberty type they replaced. 19. Art historian Cornelius Vermeule, in his work on U.S. coins, took a more positive view of Barber's coinage. The last word as to their aesthetic merits has yet to be written. Little admired or collected for more than 3 generations after their appearance, writing in 1971, these essentially conservative but most dignified coins have suddenly become extremely popular with collectors. 39. Vermeule argued that the designs of Barber's coins were more attuned to the times than he perhaps realized. The plumpish, matronly gravitas of Liberty had come to America 7 years earlier in the person of Frederick Bartholdi's giant statue, the Statue of Liberty. 40. He suggested that the features of Daniel Chester French's huge statue Republic, created for the World Columbian Exposition, were absolutely in harmony with what Charles Barber had created for the coinage in the year of the fair's opening. Mass 12.50 G, diameter 30.6 mm, thickness 1.8 mm, edge-rated composition 90% silver 10% copper, silver 0.36169. Troy Oz, years of minting 1891, patterns only 1892, 1915, regular issues, mint marks D, O, S, located on reverse beneath eagle. Philadelphia Mint specimens lack mint mark. Obverse design, head of Liberty, designer Charles E. Barber, design date 1891, reverse design a heraldic eagle, based on the Great Seal of the United States, designer Charles E. Barber, design date 1891. Public dissatisfaction with the newly issued Morgan dollar led the mint's engravers to submit designs for the smaller silver coins in 1879. 8. 9. Among those who called for new coinage was editor Richard Watson Gilder of the Century Illustrated Monthly magazine. Sometime in the early 1880s, he, along with one of his reporters and sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens, visited Mint director Burchard to argue for the creation of new designs. They brought along classic Greek and Roman coins in an attempt to persuade Burchard that the coinage could easily be made more beautiful. The visitors left disappointed, after learning that Burchard considered the much criticized Morgan dollar as beautiful as any of them. 10. In 1885, Burchard was succeeded as Mint director by James Kimball. The new director was more receptive to Gilder's ideas and in 1887 announced a competition for new designs for the non-gold coinage. These plans were scuttled when Vermont Senator Justin Morrill questioned the Mint's authority to produce new designs. The Mint had claimed authority under the Coinage Act of 1873 in issuing the Morgan dollar in 1878 and the Liberty Head nickel in 1883. Morrill was a supporter of coin redesign and had in the past introduced bills to accomplish this. He felt, however, that this could not be done without an act of Congress. Kimball submitted the issue to government lawyers. They indicated that the Mint lacked the claimed authority. All three men worked to secure a bill to authorize new designs, Morrill by introducing and pressing legislation, Kimball by lobbying for the authority in his annual report, and Gilder by orchestrating favorable coverage. With legislators busy with other matters, it was not until September 26, 1890, that President Benjamin Harrison signed legislation making all denominations of U.S. coins available for immediate redesign by the Mint upon obtaining the Secretary of the Treasury's approval. Each coin could thereafter be altered from the 25th year after it was first produced. For example, a coin first struck in 1892 would be eligible for redesign in 1916.